especially the students and their parents. This is probably the best, the best type of school board meetings that we can have. We've had some doozies. So we're glad that you're here today. We'd also just especially like to thank everyone that helped prepare to get us to this point. We've had a study session that we just got out of, and the preparation leading up to this. Stacy, thank you for all your help organizing that. John Moss in the back for televising this over the internet, and all the directors that help every day to give the board what we need to be successful. So we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll ask Board Member Holmes to lead us in that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna skip the community comment section, and we're gonna get to that after the celebrations. So we will begin with the Wasatch Parent Network to come up and to present the winners of this competition, which, as you can see, last year the winners were posted, and we've looked at them all year long. And I would like to purchase a few of those before you give them back. Maybe they'll let me buy them from them. But there's a couple of them that look like photographs, and they're not. They're paintings or drawings.
Yep.
They're beautiful. Anyway, Angie Newberger, thank you for being here
Thank
tonight.
you. Thanks for having me
You're
here.
a great friend of the district.
Well, we appreciate you, school board, and all that you are doing for the community. So I've been in charge of the Emergence contest for the last 2 years, and as you all know, that we all used to be a part of the PTA, but since we kind of dissolved from the PTA, we're now the Wasatch Parent Network. And since we don't have reflections with the PTA, we decided to do something different. And what happened a year ago, Emergence Contest started with the CAPS program, and they developed it, and we just kind of, the Wasatch Parent Network, took it on and made it a little bit better. So we had the help from a CAPS student this year, Alyssa Hendrickson. She's a senior, and she helped update the website and update the forms. Last year, we had a really hard time getting all the forms to download correctly and all the art, and so this year, Alyssa helped us, and I'm telling you, young brains, smart high school students is the way to go. You just need to ask them, and they can create anything. And so I hope it was easy for you, students. Was it for you to download those pictures and put your artist statements on? I hope it was easier this year. But this program is sponsored by the Wasatch Parent Network, the school district, and also we have an association with the Heber Valley Life magazine. After this, the top 3 overall high school students will be featured in the Heber Valley Life magazine, plus the top overall winners will have their pictures in the Heber Valley Life magazine, probably in next month's edition. So we have a great partnership with Heber Valley Life. We also applied for a grant this year with the Wasatch Art Council, and Mike Glenn is here to represent the Wasatch Art Council, and he's just going to say.
I just want to say, we are delighted with this program. And the number of students who have participated, we want this to be a long-term relationship, and we're more than glad to participate financially year to year. We're just excited, so thank you.
So they gave us $800, and the Wasatch Parent Network matched that with $800. So each school supplied $100 from their school. And then we also had $400 from the school district that's going to pitch in. So we're upping the prize money a little bit. I'm hoping the kids are excited about how much they received this year. Anyway, and I'm hoping that next year we can even make it a bigger deal. So, but we really appreciate Wasatch Arts Council for donating that money to us. So this year, we had 36 entries from K through 2. We had 45 entries 3 through 5. We had 67 entries 6 through 8. And we had 107 from the high school, which Reflections was dying. And this is a huge improvement. I'm so excited about the arts. We have 5 categories. We had graphic arts, photography, drawing, painting, and sculptured work. After we received all the art, we compiled them into a Google slideshow and we sent them off to 5 judges. And they're community members and we appreciate them. And those 5 judges, they put them in first, second, and third in each category. So after they were first, second, and third, we took all the first place winners, or maybe even the second place winners, and we put them on a Google slideshow, and we sent them back to the judges. And we said, now we want you to pick 1 winner from K through 2, 1 winner 3 through 5, 2 winners for 6 through 8, and 3 winners for 9 through 12. And so that's who we have to here tonight, and we're so excited they're here. Anyway, we're excited to celebrate these wonderful students and their art and their talent. So we'll have each of them come up one by one, and you'll see their art up on the screen, but they're also going to show it to you, and they're going to read their artist statement. And this year's theme was My Place in This World. So let's have Rosalie Simons come up first. She is a kindergartner from Daniels Canyon. Oh, come here, right here, honey, Rosalie.
Come on up here.
Here's my mic.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
Maybe
let's
I'll
get
get
her
you
a
a
chair
chair.
instead.
Okay, we'll use a chair. And you guys will die when you see her art. It's seriously the cutest thing. You want to stand? Okay.
Welcome.
Okay, Rosalie, kindergartner from Daniels Canyon.
Planting love seeds. My place in the world is to share my big smile and plant love seeds so that people can feel happy. I can help love grow in the world.
Isn't that cute? So cute. I love that. Okay, and then we have Evelyn.
Good job, Rosalie. She beelined it right up here. She did
You don't need that one. I don't think so. Okay, thank you. Okay.
When I thought about my place in the world, the first 2 things I thought of were art and dance. I love to dance. I share beauty with the world through my artwork and my dancing. When I share something beautiful like art or dance, I feel amazing and peaceful. My place in the world is dancing and creating art.
Evelyn, what grade are you? 4th grade.
I saw that one on, I think KPCW put a picture of it
Oh.
last night, and so if she doesn't want that back next year, I will buy that.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
I
Okay.
have a former dancer in my home, and I know she would love
Yeah.
that.
Okay, let's have Abe Lewis come on up. He's a 7th grader, right? At Rocky Mountain Middle. Our only boy.
Nice job, baby. You brought the actual photo.
I love it.
Got the wrong one.
We got
Oh,
2.
sorry. Oh, you know what?
Oh, there we go.
I drew a small teal beach house with palm trees and surfboards. I made this on Adobe Fresco digitally. I added different layers onto my piece to create this drawing. I love to make this as my place in the world because I love the beach and this house looks so fun, but it also looks calm and quiet at the same time.
And I just have to give a plug out for Rocky Mountain Middle School. All the entries, 6th through 8th, were from Rocky Mountain Middle and from one teacher. And it was my daughter-in-law, Savannah Newberger. So she killed it. So you better give her a raise. All right, let's see. Brooklyn. Where are you at? Brooklyn, come on up.
Ever since I was 5, me and my family have been going camping for spring break. It's so pretty. We always get to see trees and We always get to see trees getting color and the beautiful mountains. This is my place in the world. Nature is my home.
Thanks, Brooklyn.
Where's
What?
this place you go camping?
We go to the sand dunes.
Okay.
Is that water?
And what grade are you, Brooklyn? Eighth grade. Eighth grader from Rocky Mountain. Okay, let's have Avery Springer. Oh, let's see, what's next? Okay, no, Lacey Lyles, sorry. Lacey, come on up.
Just as a sailboat belongs on the water, I belong in the world. Both a sailboat and myself require certain things to be successful. For example, a sailboat depends on wind and calm water regularly to sail the water. Along with a sailor who knows where to go, how to get there, and be prepared for problems that may come, I have a path where I belong to try to stay steady with each step, but knowing I'm alone and still need others to help me in my journey.
Found out Lacey is a ninth grader, so it's amazing. Okay, what's next? Okay, Keely Shea Tuttle.
My place in the world begins in nature. I chose to do a coastal landscape in watercolor. I looked at different coastal scenes and did a mashup of ideas. I love the feeling that my picture evokes. It has a peaceful and calming effect for me. I think my contrast of colors in the rocks gives it a dramatic effect. There are also so many different structures and intricate lines that you find in nature that I love that nature is full of wonderful color palettes to work with. I really love spending my time in nature and finding inspiration in it.
Okay, and then our last one is Avery Springer. And this is so fun. This is a sculptured work. This is awesome. We don't know how we're going to display it, but we're going to figure it out.
I think my teacher put like a hook hole on it. So
Okay.
we'll figure it out. Okay. Nature and humankind have always been seen separately. As I've grown up, I've continuously realized how much of an impact nature has had on my life. For this piece, I decided to combine nature and humankind into one, while also representing growth throughout my life. The thing I love most about growth is that there is no limit to how much we can evolve. There will never be a time in my life where I'm not growing in some way, and this project has reminded me of that.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for allowing us to come and share with you this wonderful program. We're excited. So. Okay, let's have all the students bring up their artwork if they have it. And if not, it's okay. Just come on up. Maybe bring your certificate if you don't have your artwork. And then come on up here and we'll get a picture with you at the school board. Okay.
Where do you want?
We give a little bit.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. Okay. Okay, look at, yeah. Maybe I'll just get it.
Thank you so much.
I think, are we okay to see this in?
I think the board has a couple of comments,
Okay.
and then we're going to celebrate the National Librarian.
Sure.
If it's not, we're gonna call you the National Librarian. Librarians. We won't choose from one. Anyway, comments from the board. We'll be brief. Another couple of minutes, and then we'll let everybody leave.
I think this is a really neat. I was involved in PTA before, and in the Reflections art contest. And Angie's correct. It was dying. I don't know why, but this is definitely, emergence is certainly a proper word for what's happening here. And I know Angie has put so many hours into this in the last 2 years. And thanks for just reviving this. And the artwork is beautiful. So to the students, congratulations. Keep going. You're doing a great job.
And so I forgot, you guys, your artwork will be framed and be on display for a year. So this is all last year's winners. So,
And we look at them a lot, and we read them a lot, and we have our favorites. And I really think we should try to find a place to put all of these pieces of art and see if we can buy them and back from the artists and find halls or build somewhere. We have enough facilities around here where we should continue to display these arts if the artists let us year over year. But definitely for the winners this year, we'll put them in the boardroom so we can look at them. Marianne?
I just want to say congratulations to all the students. There were amazing submissions and your words that went along with your art, and it was just awesome to see. And same, keep going. You have so much talent and so much skill, and the way you connected how you felt about your place in the world to your art was awesome, and I loved it. So good job. And Angie, thank you again. I'm excited to see this keep growing. It's been great, so thank you for your hard work.
It's not often, at least for me, to get to meet the author of a piece of art, and what a treat. What a rare treat that we have to be here and see the authors come up and their sweet spirits and feel of their goodness and their intent, and listen to the words, as Marianne mentioned, their feelings and how they feel about this piece of art. It just makes the art come to life. And Tom's right. We have lots of meetings, district meetings in this room, and before and after every meeting, people are wandering around looking at the art, and I love the fact that we have the little summary underneath the students' words, and it's just such a treat to be here tonight and to see the students come and present this art to us. So thank you so much. This is a payday for a bunch of policy people that get mired down in some pretty nasty stuff sometimes. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
I probably said this last year, but I'll say it again. I could never do what you've just done. I admire that you have that talent and hope that you realize that that's a gift and that you should continue to develop it. So, good work.
Awesome. And just in closing, thank you, Angie, for your leadership. Thank you for providing an opportunity to highlight and display these talented students. Thank you, parents, for encouraging it in your home, and grandparents for doing the same. And it's a payday. This is one of the days where I was in a heavy conversation in the hallway, and then I walked upstairs and I said, hey, we're gonna have a great night. There's a packed house, and everybody's like, oh. I said, no, it's the year, it's the art, it's the contest. And last year we had a great, and this topped last year, and so here's to continued success with this program and to your artistic talents. And we're glad that you came tonight. It's made our night, so thank you. All right, in conclusion of the celebrations, I look down. We're going to have Miss Sally, the librarian from Midway Elementary, come up, and she's going to recognize the librarians in our district because April is National Librarian Month. And so from the board, we would like to congratulate the librarians in our district. Is that true? Does that sound right?
You're right.
Okay, and whether it's true or not, you are the National Librarians of the Year.
There you go. We are the National
in this district and in our book.
Thank you. We are excited to come and present. You're going to get an opportunity to meet the elementary librarians in the district. This is Blanca Howell. She is from Daniels Canyon Elementary. I am Miss Sally from Midway Elementary. This is Karen Smith from Oatmeal Elementary. This is Andrea Sluga from J.R. Smith Elementary. And this is Miss Sylvia from Heber.
Come on.
We are all going to take a minute.
Oh, you're going to take a second?
Yes,
Okay,
and
perfect.
go through a little quick PowerPoint, kind of describing our goals, our mission, and kind of what we do as librarians.
Great.
All right, Blanca.
All right, so thank you. Hello, good evening, everyone. We are so grateful that we're grateful to the board for letting us present today. We wanted to let you know that we feel so lucky to work for such a great district, and today, hopefully, through our presentation, we're able to express the critical role we have as librarians at the elementary level. As librarians, we feel so lucky to have those positions. So today, let's see if I can move the next slide. So as you can see, we're here, oops, I did it a little too fast. We're here representing all the 5 elementary schools. I work at Daniels Canyon Elementary. I work at the newest elementary school. I serve there. And so some of the library purposes we have as librarians is that our teachers are able to have common prep during the time the students are with us. And we try to develop curriculum that supports the classroom. We try to introduce all kinds of reading materials with a variety of purposes, as we're going to go through today. And of course, we try to build empathy and broaden students' understanding of the world. We all have different personalities, and we all bring a little bit of different flavor to each school. But at the end of the day, we feel our libraries are very important. I particularly instruct in English and Spanish at Daniels Canyon Elementary to support the dual immersion program. Here we did a quick little graph of, obviously Daniels Canyon has the least amount of books as we're the newest. We've only been for 5 years, but every year elementary schools require new books. Like one of my colleagues said books are not a museum pieces. So we must continue to provide recent literature to our students. And I think, so when you're thinking about budgets or anything like that, we always welcome a little more. But the recent, we feel strongly that kids need to have more current, what's the more current literature that's out there for them, and always try to provide a variety of literature for them. I'm not going to read every single of our 5 C's, but we like to promote critical thinking in the library, of course, and creativity, collaboration, communication in the library by the different means that we have digitally. But also, in the elementary level, we really like to have students have an actual book. We feel that's still very important to them. And we like to teach good citizenship in the world, in the digital world as well. That's part of our curriculum. So we're going to take some time, and each of our librarians want to share some of their thoughts and how they run their school. So this is Karen Smith from Oatmeal.
The Oatmeal Elementary Library motto is kindness begins with me. Books offer the perfect opportunity to teach the principle of kindness in a very explicit way. Whether it be in a story of the recess queen, learning about how to deal with a playground bully, or rather it be in the story such as Baseball Saved Us, a historical fiction that visits some of our harsher realities of history that took place during Japanese Americans during World War II. Books offer the opportunity to explore in a safe way and gain an understanding of those different from ourselves. I attended elementary school in this building. This is my 3rd grade classroom. But my most distinct memory happened 55 years ago when I was in 5th grade up on the 3rd floor. And Mrs. Allred was reading the book Where the Red Fern Grows. That's my most vivid memory of connecting with a book as I experienced emotions of love and loss in that story. I hope each one of you can connect in your mind a similar experience of when you connected to a book My sincere hope is that every teacher or librarian can help every student in this district connect with a book by awakening empathy and understanding of themselves and others. And it will be a memory that in 55 years in the future, they will be like me and remember. We as district librarians would like to thank you as administration for leading the way and setting the expectation that every student can excel. This expectation carries over to the library classroom as well. The fact that the district has always been willing to invest in certified teacher librarians and technology has made our job so much easier and more efficient. For the most part, our lessons K2 deal with literacy. While participating in the state letters training this year, I have recognized that many of the literacy concepts I have been teaching for years in library are very much validated by this letters training. Grades 2 through 5 touch on a variety of subjects, and the fact that students can bring their own device every week and can access tools such as Nearpod and Kahoots offer greater opportunities for student engagement and learning. To you and past board members, thank you again for making a priority to invest in student learning.
Thank you. Karen, come back up.
Yes.
You're not ready. We know you're retiring, and you've dedicated decades of your life to education and books and reading. And it's a busy time of year, and I know that there'll be gatherings to celebrate your retirement. But on behalf of the board, and I know the superintendent will have other words, we just want to thank you sincerely.
I was gonna give her a shout out because she's actually been our mentor because I'm pretty new as a librarian, so she's the one that has inspired me and helped me get organized at Daniels Canyon Elementary. So personally, I'd like to say thank you, and I'm sure my colleagues feel the same way. She's a rock for us, and we're gonna miss her lots. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
She was my kid's librarian. Oatmeal is the school that a couple of my kids went to anyway. So thank you for being there for my kids.
Well, we always appreciate the PTA. They done amazing
We did
things
work
for our
closely,
librarian.
yeah.
She was a big part of it, so
Thank you for all you've done, and congratulations on retiring. I guess you'll probably go and do fun things.
Read.
Yes.
So,
Karen, how many years of service?
Well, I've been at the library 16 since I left the classroom. I actually taught 7 years in 4th grade, and before that I worked with you guys when you were little interns at middle school.
Sure did.
Mr. Kelly and Mr. Sweat. I actually started when my kids went back to school and worked over at middle school library as an aide, and then went back to the classroom. And so 26 years.
A lifetime of service. It's humbling to think of how many lives you've touched and how many kids you've helped along the way. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
so are you the time to?
There's a lot of things I could talk about, but I'll speak really quick because you don't want to be here all night. I'm passionate about what I do in the library. I'm very thankful to be at J.R. Smith. And one of the programs that we started 5 years ago was Pathfinders Read. We've called it different things, trying to find the right thing, because we wanted to mimic the Wasatch Reads logo. But it is a program that started as One Book, One School. I kind of copycatted what they did and developed it so that the school, in February, Literacy Month, every family, not every student unfortunately, because that's pricey, but every family gets a book, whether in English or in Spanish, and we read it as an entire school. We do a lot of activities. Our WPN has been fabulous in developing a calendar that each kid takes home, and they read chapters, and everybody's reading the same chapters. The whole staff is involved in participating in reading the book, and this, again, was our 5th year. Midway Elementary has copied that. This was your second year, and Daniels is starting to kind of adapt something similar. But I'm very passionate about that. My hope is to eventually give every child a book, because I learned this year that siblings don't know how to share anymore. And so the younger sibling, we gave them to the oldest sibling in the school, and the youngest siblings never got to touch the book unless they were at school if their teacher was reading it in the classroom. But my hope is to develop that and just have a community of readers. I think another picture is that we do a summer reading program that just copycats some of the summer school stuff that we do. And then the last thing I wanted to share was we do a parade of readers, and you go one more picture.
Sorry.
Yep. No, you're good.
Slow, delayed.
It's hiccuping. Anyways, we do a parade of readers that is tied to reading level, accuracy, different things that we do throughout the school year. And so they wear capes and parade through the school, and different celebrations for, maybe sometimes it's just for reading. Sometimes it's for moving up on the RISE or the DIBELS test and different things with that. But I'm passionate about what I do, and I'm very, very, very thankful for being in the school district and having teacher librarians in the library. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about the technical problems, I'm not sure. Sylvia?
All right. I guess that's me. Hi. I see some of my students here. Cool. Well, I am also very happy to be a librarian. I also, as you see there, the window in there, I feel like the library is like the window to the world for the children. There's so much out there, so much to learn and experience, and to have the opportunity to, offer the students the opportunity to learn, to be entertained, and to make right choices, either in books or in websites, and becoming, expert in getting information, and not only that, but the right information, and be prepared for the world and what is coming. I love that. I'm not going to read all that, but I want to let you know we have one thing that helps us to give a book to every student is to have the birthday book club. And thanks to volunteers, wonderful people in the school and out of the school, they gave us books. We can provide that, and also our wonderful WPN that gave us books. We can do that. So every class, I call the people that's having birthdays, and they get a new book. And we have also, we have a character parade that is really fun. We love to dance and move and have fun. But also another thing is that helped me to promote the checking out more books is the competition between grades. We actually tally every single book is returned, and see at the end of each term what grade is the top in checking out books and returning books, and that grade has a party. So I have, 6 parties at the end of each term. So it's like, yeah, I'm a party lady. And I love the theme of, the art contest about nature. I love to bring things with nature into the library. I have had so far hermit crabs, ladybugs. I have plants. I have brought chicks. I love for them to experience the world. So thank you for everything you do. Thank you for parents to support your children in reading.
So it's my turn. I'm Maestra Sanchez. I'm actually Blanca Howell, but I use my middle name. Our principal every day says we learn at high levels, and so that's kind of, I was thinking when I was putting this presentation together, that's kind of our motto at our school. And we're having a literacy night on Monday coming up here. And so for my school, like I said, I'm like the newest one here, but as far as a new school, but I try to encourage culturally diverse library services, I call them, including in English and in Spanish. I believe I have the biggest collection of Spanish books in our district. I have about 870 copies, and I have from publishers from Spain, South America, Central America, and I also have books that are, you know, like an Eric Carle book translated into Spanish. So I try to encourage the students to check one in Spanish, one in English, to do their best with that. And so I try to complement and encourage the dual immersion program as much as I can. I also, as you can see, there's a picture of a Marine uniform. I try to encourage a wide range of social studies through library, through books. My son happens to be a Marine, and on Veterans Day, I put all the books from all the military services, you know, and President's Day, and this other slide there with the little boys, they were doing Dia de los Muertos. The mom came, set it all up, and she put a little lesson together and tried to encourage different cultures and why they celebrate Dia de los Muertos. So we tried to inspire children through books. I wanted to share, well, this is one of the books we read. I read to the upper grades, Frederick Douglass' Journey for the upper grades, 3rd through 5th. And he was born a slave, and he was able to overcome a lot of challenges. And I love to bring the connections with the students because as an immigrant myself, I understand how it's hard. America is a wonderful country, but you have challenges that come your way. And we have a lot of struggling readers, and I felt like he was such a great example of like he says, if there's no struggle, there's no progress. And I always tell the kids, if you're a struggling reader, that's why your teachers are getting training. We're here to help you. We welcome all readers. And we can do hard things. And sometimes we have to struggle through them to get to get that end result. But one of the things at the end of his life, he said, from Douglass traveled far, from slave to free man, from illiterate to uneducated, from powerless to powerful. It had been a difficult journey. And I think that those kind of words inspire children that when they have hard things, they can do it too. And we talk about Ruby and her courage as a little first grader going to school all by herself. And I hope with those messages the children are encouraged and uplifted and motivated to do hard things as they face different difficulties. So in the end, my goal is to help kids learn at high levels and create an environment in which they feel encouraged and appreciated. We dance, we do puzzles. It's like for those 40 minutes, yes, we do a lot of encourage critical thinking and literature, but I also want it to be a safe place, for them to come and they're not being tested, they're not being put into all this pressure. It's a safe place they can come and enjoy and read and enjoy a story and not feel like you're going to be tested at the end of this. I definitely have exit tickets and I do different things to make sure they're learning, but I hope to provide that environment. And that was it. Thank you. In this side.
Thank you.
All right. I'm new to the district. I've only been here for a couple of years. Previously, I was working at the Wasatch County Library. And one of the events that we had was a Star Wars activity where I had the kids, the final thing that they got to do was do a scavenger hunt throughout the whole library. And to earn the great reward of a Smartie at the end was that they needed to answer one simple question. And that question was, why do you read? Now, out of 123 kids that I had attending that evening, I had answers anywhere from because it makes you smart, because you have to, because you want to go to college. However, I was so saddened that not one child said, because it's fun. Because it's fun. And so studies have shown that when children read for pleasure and fun, not only do they become great readers and their literacy improves, but more importantly, they become lifelong readers. And that's what it's about. So when I was hired a couple of years ago by Brian Thorne, he said to me, Sally, I want you to make the library a fun place. I want kids to look forward to coming to the library. And when Jenny, our new principal, got hired this year, she says, yes, I want kids to love to read. So my personal motto is Midway Elementary, where, and all 700 kids each week yell out, reading is, and they all say fun. Now, whether they believe it or not, they're saying it. Reading not only expands the mind, but it ignites creativity. At Midway Elementary, we open doors wide to imagination and to learning by connecting with stories. We do this in various ways. Number one, we connect books with storytelling. We have children reenact with puppets and become the characters. We connect books with authors. We have authors come and talk about the great experience of writing and how difficult it is, but to keep trying. We connect them with STEM. Like Andrea mentioned, we did the wild robot this year, and we were able to bring robots in, and the kids played with it and explored. We are able to connect books with career exploration to prepare our children for tomorrow. We do it through diversity. Every month, we focus on a diverse book, opening up our children's minds to how people think differently. And guess what? That is okay. We connect to essential standards. You'll see in the second one with the bird, we had Wasatch State Park come and talk about habitats. And then, of course, we read stories about animal habitats. We connect through creativity. And finally, we connect with music. Many of you, I assume, have heard of the story, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. This is a circular tale or a round tale, which basically means where you start at the beginning, circles around through all these events, and you end up from the end right back to the beginning. It starts out, I just want to read just a little part. It starts out with, if you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to ask for a glass of milk. And when you give him milk, then he'll probably ask you for a straw. And it keeps going on and on. Well, the question I had was, if you give a child a book, then what? And I asked a lot of colleagues, administrators, friends, and parents, and here are some of the things they said. If you give a child a book, their possibilities are endless. If you give a child a book, you unlock worlds of imagination. If you give a child a book, the more their minds will expand and explore. If you give a child a book, they are going to want to Google all the questions they have about it. If you give a child a book, chances are they're going to become lifelong learners. If you give a child a book, they'll become a lover of books who, in time, teach their own children to love books. That's what it's about. If you give a child a book, their future will go from limited to limitless. And if you give a child a book, chances are they're going to want to read it over and over again. Gentlemen, ladies, parents, guess what? We give children books. And I want to show you what happens when we do. question I have to end our statement tonight is, if you give the school board members a cookie and a book, will they love the district librarians?
National Librarians of the Year. Thank you very, very much. That was excellent. I mean, speechless. It's great. I think the board will give their cookies, because there's plenty of cookies around here, to Rosalind, Evelyn, Abe, Brooklyn, Lacey, Keely, and Avery. So why don't you guys come up and get these cookies? Come on up, come on. And we'll take a 5-minute break.
Hey, before we break,
Come on up, get these cookies.
I don't know if I could take just a moment. I'm not sure why the stars have aligned the way they have, but we've had the privilege of having Michael and Ann Moulton to 2 board meetings in a row now. I don't know if they're going to make it next month as well. Would you 2 stand up, please? I'm 54.
Really like seeing you, young guy.
That's awesome. I'm 54 years old, and when I was a young man growing up, these are 2 people that I looked up to and I still look up to today. And they were pillars in this community. Leaders. Let me tell you a quick story. I was a young assistant principal at Wasatch Middle School, and we could not find a choir teacher. And after one little collaboration meeting, why not Ann Moulton? She's the greatest choir director we know. And a phone call was made, and she came to the school, I know just out of the goodness of her heart. And how many years did you serve as the middle school choir teacher?
I only served 3 years.
Only is not the right word. She came for 3 years, and she served as our choir teacher. She's a retired teacher on the books. So thank you so much for being here. We know you came to watch your granddaughter. What a talented young lady, and fun tonight. But Wasatch School District appreciates Michael and Ann Moulton and the legacy that you've left in this valley. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, librarians. Best board meeting of the year, no question about it. Everybody, thank you. We're gonna break for 5 minutes and come back for some public comment, but we appreciate you being here tonight and to continue the good work. There's a couple of educators that are incognito, so I see Erica here. We're glad she's here from Midway Elementary. We have Heather Lewis, our counselor from Rocky Mountain. Have I missed anybody else? That's Dr. Ben Springer's in street clothing tonight.
He's ducking down behind
And
that
then-
ball cap.
Who else do we miss?
I'm Sarah Bray. I at WLA and TMS.
Okay,
Oh, cool.
thank you,
So
Sarah,
thank
for
you.
being here. We don't get a lot of educators coming through incognito, sneaky like that, but we see you, we love you, appreciate it, and come back. Isn't loud enough, so I'll speak up. Look at the esteemed directors that are here, thick and through thin.
You must want something. You must need something approved.
All right, we will move on to the consent items, because I don't see any public comments.
Our public comments have disappeared.
All right,
No one online.
unless you want to go.
I have a public comment.
Okay. Public comment from Superintendent.
Claire Mayer, will you walk up to the podium, please?
Oh, yeah, you stick around long enough with candy in the mouth and all. Sugar tooth.
Sorry about that. I do have a sugar tooth. Sorry about that.
Is that McKinnon blood? Right?
Can I spit this out?
That's okay.
You're fine.
I have, you don't need to speak. I'm going to do the speaking. I just want to recognize Claire board this evening. I got a little note here from State USBE Assistant Superintendent Leah Voorhees. This is what she wrote to me. This is a little handwritten note. Thank you so much, Angie.
I'm serious about trying to figure out how to keep these. I'm serious about trying to figure out how to
We
keep
might have
these.
to make
Make
prints.
We can get a print
We
of
could
their-
get somebody to make prints, I'm sure.
Okay, well, if you guys want to do that, I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, we'll find wall space for them.
So I'll just check with all the parents and see if they want them, and then we'll just decide. If they don't, then yeah, we can just keep them,
Okay.
move them around. I don't know, that'd be fun.
We'll buy them.
Okay, well, you'll pay the kids?
We'll pay the kids.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll buy them.
That's even better. Okay,
We'll put it in the,
thanks so
we'll
much.
put it in the budget, and we'll
Thank
buy
you.
some prints for the
I was
walls.
going to personally buy that one.
Superintendent Sweat, I wanted to take a minute and share how impressed my team and I are with Claire Mayer. She has completely turned around the compliance of your district in 6 short months. We have rarely seen such dedication, and I wish I could bottle her up and share it. She has been so kind and so responsive, and we have loved working with her. Thank you for working with our team and for all your district has done to serve students better. Sincerely, Leah Voorhees, Assistant Superintendent. So that speaks of the kind of quality work that Claire does. Speaks of who she is as a person, and we know the high school misses her, and she did a wonderful work at the alternative school and then the high school, and she continues that in this part of her career to do fantastic high-level work here at the district. Thank you, Claire.
That's very nice. Thank you, honestly, for the opportunity to. I have had such a big learning curve and such a big one to go. And I just want to thank you all for everything that you do, but also for the rest of these people right here. I just feel so supported and grateful to work with everyone and to have such a good board. So thank you very much. I'm already shaking, but I would be shaking out of my boots if I did not have the help. It's just a constant, using their brain power and skills and their expertise to try to help me get through each day. And I just appreciate the good people that they are and that you are, and just grateful for this opportunity to learn and grow. So thank you.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Claire, for everything.
Excellent.
I still can't park though, right, Sean?
Exactly. We're grateful that Board Member Bluth showed up tonight. All right? Did we pull it out? Did we get her in?
Let's run down.
Can we get a rundown? Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs.
There's something romantic about baseball. It was a big win since 2014. They kind of had the thorn in their side with Salem, and they pulled it out with extra innings, and then we came up, scored 2 runs, and win in our face, which was actually kind of to our advantage because we had a little pitcher that likes to get pop-ups and ground balls, and they came through. So it was big. Casey Anderson, and he just pitched great. Just pitched great. A lot of fun. 4-2. 4-2. So tough game, but
Oh,
it's pretty fun.
while we're talking about baseball, I was going to share this later, but I'll do it now. I think it would be appropriate if we gave the board an opportunity, and we don't need to do anything formal, it can all be informal, but if we invited the board to a specific baseball game, and I'm going to throw out 2 dates, May 5th and April 26th. Those are 2 home baseball games, and it would give you a chance. I believe there's softball games. Are they playing simultaneously this year or no?
Some days.
So I asked them to find me a day where they were. So I hope those are, but it'll give you a chance to come and see the work that's been done on the fields, see the new turf in action. I'd like to maybe invite board member Baird specifically. This was a project that he was passionate about and talked about for several years, and you know, it's one of those things that you wonder and you worry about different things, but once it happens, absolutely was the right thing and has changed the dynamic of our fields out there, and it's going to change the use of those fields in a big way. So make a note of those 2 dates, please, and get back to me.
I think it's great. Let's have board member.
Let's plan on one of those.
What dates?
May 5th or April 26th. If we kind of settled on one of those 2 dates, we'd call it kind of board night at the baseball game, and
Yeah.
we could invite Blake and Mark as well to come and.
Let's have them throw out the first pitch.
What time is
We
that?
could. We could do
But
that.
you need
3:30 on
to
both
have
of them?
the first pitch.
3:30.
I don't know how you work.
I think it's senior night, that second one, Paul, against Spanish Fork, which will be a
May
good,
5th?
The May 5th, and that might be kind of a neat night to do that.
Okay.
The field it's just incredible. It plays so nice, and it's just totally revamped even the team.
Then we get to see Tyler's son play.
Yeah.
Be great.
He better come up big.
They better win.
Yeah.
Could you get one
Tomorrow
across
we
the
can have
plate?
tacos at the
Could you get one
stretch.
across the plate?
Me? Could I?
First pitch, right?
Who are you talking to?
No, let's have let's have former president member Baird throw out the
That would
first
be
pitch.
great.
There you go.
That'd be fun.
He'll be here. No, that's awesome, and I know we're making some enhancements for another practice / lacrosse Springfield out there, and that's gonna happen this summer, right? We just start digging that.
Do you have some information on that, Sean, you'd like to share?
I do, if you'd like to see.
Yeah, come on up.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Give us an overview of the Spring Sports Complex.
I'll show you a little drawing. I will tell you that the company we work with is top-notch, professional, they are on it, they do such a nice job. And this is after quite a bit of deliberation with high school people and everyone. This is the final rendering that is going
that's cool.
to be the multi-purpose field that we've talked about. The drainage ponds, I don't know why that one. You can see on this field we're gonna have multiple uses. So the white lines are soccer, the yellow lines are boys lacrosse, the gray are 10-yard football markers with hashes. The black line is girls lacrosse, and then we of course have the big logo in the middle. So that's kind of what we've settled on and has gone to final approval, and they will start as soon as school is out.
And that's the practice field.
That's the practice field.
And everything green, is that what encompasses that entire grass area, or will there be some grass around
there'll be
the
grass
outside?
around it.
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be grass. Obviously, the hill against the baseball field is staying grass, and then on the west, that will continue. There'll be parts that are grass. We didn't do the whole thing.
So the lacrosse players will practice on this field, not play, right? They'll
We
play on the-
anticipate there's gonna be a lot of games played
Okay.
as well as practice.
So good news, I'm happy to report, they're winning right now 10-1.
Nice.
And Josh is playing.
That's even better. So they do have universal lacrosse lines, but our high school and the coaches wanted to specifically have a boys lines and girl lines. So we're in compliance there. We feel like this field is gonna be used a lot for games again, as well as practice.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're gonna see a lot of varsity lacrosse for sure, and you might even see some varsity soccer.
Lacrosse was out there in the dead of January at like 10 o'clock at night. So they can have the.
They had the last draw on practice field.
Yeah.
Well, this is great, thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll have to keep an eye on this practice field to make sure it's not demolished for extra space for facilities. You know, the practice fields, they're
Parking.
This is a keeper, we wanna make sure we keep this one. Okay, let's move on to the consent items. I'll entertain a motion to pass the consent items.
I move that we approve the consent items as outlined.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We got a short list today, so we'll start with number 1 and we'll bring up esteemed Director Todd Johnson for 1, 2. Should have just had Sean do 3 while he was up.
I believe the first item is Desmos Software. So I'm here seeking approval for a request from the teachers at Rocky Mountain Middle School to improve math instruction. And these teachers have been working hard, breaking down the standards and objectives and trying to understand the things that they're supposed to teach and primarily how they can improve learning in mathematics. Principal Thorne has brought in a consultant from Solution Tree named Jessica McIntyre. And as they've considered the recommendations and looked for support for how to improve teaching and learning at their school, they're requesting Desmos Math software. And so they have been using the free version of Desmos. In fact, that's in all of our secondary schools, and that's also the calculator that the students will use with their online testing. However, Rocky Mountain Middle School is requesting the full curriculum package and the more robust technology that will allow the students to improve math learning on a day-to-day basis. And so this is primarily coming from the teachers, and my recommendation is to approve the purchase of Desmos Math Learning Software, 700 licenses for $14,000.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments for Todd?
I actually looked this up just for me. I know you do your research, but I just had some questions, and so I looked at it, and there's some really good reviews on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's reputable and comes highly recommended. And the other thing that I didn't mention is the budget is ESSER, which is another positive.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks for adding that. Okay.
So all the secondary already have the free version of it. We're just paying for the upgrade.
They're practicing using the calculator. This is just more robust, according to Principal Thorne, in depth.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Number 2.
Okay, thank you for that. And the second item is seeking approval for audio-visual technology to support conferences at Wasatch High School. So I want to talk about that just a little bit. We've had Wasatch Back for a number of years now, and in addition to Wasatch Back, there are more and more opportunities for the district to put on conferences, have seminars, bring in guest speakers, and use Wasatch High School for a teaching, learning, professional development space. And so what this outlines is upgrades to the auditorium and then 6 other locations for breakouts specifically for our conference setup. The main thing that I'm really pleased about with this is that for these district events, the technology will fall right under district control. So it's modular in that the presentations will be on flat panel screens and Bigfoot audio speakers so that those attending will be able to see the presentations clearly, hear the presentations clearly, and we'll have a guarantee that our technology setup is professional and meets the standards of the professionals that we're inviting to come in and speak. One thing that's a top priority as we invite certain guest speakers, particularly last year we had solution tree guests. This year we're planning to do the same. It's imperative that they are able to control their materials from the podium where they're working, and we're not set up that way at the high school at all. So it flusters our guest speakers when they come in and the setup is just not what they're used to. So I've been working with a team with Dustin Miller and Brett Zabel, other directors here in the district office, and primarily with the help of Dustin and Brett, we have this proposal, and it's the proposal is from Webb. It's a state contract, and Webb has a reputation of, well, their experience is actually in the field of putting on conferences across the state. And so, having followed the state and district procurement procedures, my recommendation then is to approve this bid for $89,327.69 for audiovisual equipment for conferences at Wasatch High School.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Well, while you're thinking about that, let me speak to this a little bit. I would ask you to consider this along the line of thinking of it's important for us to keep our buildings updated. We do a really good job of that in Wasatch County School District. We do a really good job of taking care of our investments. And we typically spend, I think if you remember, about $1.2 million this year in maintenance and upgrades of our buildings throughout the district. So I would see this as an expenditure along those lines, a facilities upgrade. And the other thing is it's going to pay itself back over time. We take in about $20,000 with the Wasatch Back Conference that comes through NUES and other fees that the other districts pay to come, and they still get a great deal. We've been putting on a solution tree conference for them that costs them $709. I looked it up today if they go anywhere else, and they come to Wasatch and they're able to do it for around $50 a teacher. And it does generate about $20,000, which would go back into this capital budget that would basically pay for itself over a pretty short period of time. We also have other events besides our own where people rent Wasatch High School. We have a building use. Budget that's held at the high school, and I think having this type of equipment there would draw others to come and use the building, and would also put additional monies into our budget. So I don't, $89,000 is a lot of money, and it's not something we want to spend without thinking it through and making sure it's a sound investment. But based on how much it will improve the professional development opportunities that we have at Wasatch High, I'll just tell you that last year, after Solution Tree had 7 of their top people here for the Wasatch back, there were some that left and were not sure they wanted to return, just because they're used to presenting in very professional spaces. And so I think this will help our professional development in the future, and it will bring additional monies that I'm predicting within a 3 to 5 year period will pay itself back.
Any comments or
I have some
questions?
questions. Is this something, so how many events do you think per year?
Well, so this is going to be set up so this stuff is going to be fairly portable. But if you think of how many, there's 6 areas. I don't know if we went through all 6 of the areas. But,
I've looked at it.
Yeah,
so auditorium is the main area. From there we have the cafeteria. We have the room up on the 2nd floor. The distance ed room, we have the cafeteria. So I would think that it'll really be hard to put a number as to how many times. Not everybody's going to come in and use all of it at once, but we will have 2 or 3 events that will a year, and then other times of the year when we have one group of high school students meeting, maybe it's the FFA. Maybe what'll be in the auditorium will be used over and over and over again with all of the events. Think of, I'm sure the board's aware that the auditorium is used almost nightly through the month of May and the second half of April, from the honors banquet to the FFA to all those closing banquets. We had Invest Nest there on Monday. I don't know if any of you were there, but we really struggled, and we had a lot of trouble, a lot of technical difficulties throughout the night, because we're still using some equipment that came with the place when we built it, and there was some talk with our community members of, is this the right venue for this? If it's going to be that difficult, so. How many times will we use it? I don't know. I think the individual rooms will be used dozens of times throughout the year. When we set the whole place up at once, maybe 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4.
So is this something that improves, like, for example, Kirsta, our scholarship night?
Oh, yeah. I was at Invest Nest, and that was for the caliber of judges we had there to have those type of technical difficulties, and for the students who are presenting, it was unfortunate to have those glitches.
So we have a lot of events, even just in the auditorium, like in April or May that this can be used for. Can this be, because it's portable, can it be used for education in any way, like for students?
I'm sure there'll be plenty of applications where students could use it in combined settings. The lecture hall is one of the areas that we're making improvements in. The lecture hall is at least in my years there as a principal, you'd bring 4 classes together how to get a lecture hall, and to have professional equipment in there that works, and I think would be a benefit to those types of things.
I can add 2 things that I can think of recently that I have been to. This would have been beneficial. Banquets for end of year events where they show videos, or they want to show something, or they need a sound system. It can be used for that. A big one is the fundraising events that we do where we have it in the commons and the sound is difficult and we have all these auctions. I can see that being a possibility as well. So there's 2
You could move it from point A to point B. Yeah.
And the Issues Conference is a huge one.
That's a big one.
Would be a great benefit.
The Issues would use all of it.
Yeah.
Cowboy Poetry would use all of it. There's definitely, we're probably missing some where lots of folks would use it, and frankly, we would charge a little additional fee until the system's paid for. When these folks come in, it wouldn't be much, but to them, a single use, but it would help us recoup this money.
I think
Auctions in the commons are pretty
Absolutely.
miserable. They really are.
Well, I hope this would help.
Yeah.
We don't know for
Yeah.
sure if it would, but it's
Probably
another,
could probably
it's
help
another
pay
time.
for this.
They could.
This is really helpful, that we get the backstory on this, because all we see is
Big money,
$89,000 for microphones and TVs, and we don't really understand what it's for, what the benefit is, so I hope you don't feel like you're being
No, no.
attacked.
Yeah, we're just trying to understand.
We had conversations before this, it's like, what's this for? This is a lot of money.
Yeah.
We get criticized for rubber stamping stuff all the time.
That's right.
So this is really, really helpful and gives us a better feeling that we can approve something like this.
Yeah. And we're happy to discuss this at study session. If there's ever a big ticket item that
Yeah,
that's maybe not on the budget, that has come up as needed, there's plenty of time we can work it in. Or this, I mean, this is what board meetings for, is to have these discussions too. Anyway, there's a second. If there's a second, we can.
I have one more question. So funds for this, is this coming out of capital, or is this something we can use for ESSER or not? If we're using it for issues, if we're using it for students, if we're using it for those things, is this a one-time fund that we could use it for?
We'll check into that. I'm not seeing anybody jumping out of their seat, so I guess we probably don't know. Do you have an idea, Eric?
Yeah, the plan that we put in, this would be a difficult for us to be able to use ESSER funds for.
Yeah, this would
Because
come
we were
out-
very specific about how those funds are being used, specific to the COVID-19 issues, and working with students to help them recover the loss.
So this wouldn't come out of the M&O budget.
No.
This would come out of the capital budget.
That's correct.
And the last time we looked at the capital budget, there's $13 million in it. So is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Third. Well done, man. Board- We got our questions answered. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, pass.
Thank you, Todd.
Very good. Let's bring up Mr. Kelly for number 3.
My item is to bring back the policy from the workman's comp to make it simple for you, for what we're talking about tonight. Last time we presented this policy to you, we had it out for review until tonight's meeting for you to approve. We had 2 comments, both of them were, when that passes, let me have a copy of that, so very minimal response. This is directed, again, just to refresh your memory, by state policy and law that we have to comply with, and that's the purpose and why we had to update our policy on workman's comp and how we handle those claims. Which, by the way, we have a claim at least once a week of an injury of some sort. So we use the policy a lot. So my recommendation after being out for review is that the comments were not procedural or problems with it, so I would ask that you pass the policy as written.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
We're getting it. Thanks for your work on it.
Yeah, thank you. You know, we've recently discussed just the importance of updating policy, and so here's an example of that being done, so appreciate your leadership.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Okay. We're done. So we have a couple of things on board report. We've had a request for a board member +1 to attend the ROTC banquet ball dance. Is there any takers? It's April 29th at 5:30. There'd be a nice dinner and then a guest speaker, and then there'd be a dinner and dance. So if anybody can make it, they can go with their spouse, or if there's 2 board members that would like to go.
What night is that again?
It's April 29th.
Friday night.
Next Friday. It came across in an email, I think, earlier this week, and I figured we'll just discuss it and then we can get back to you.
I'm game that night, I can.
I was gonna say, I would like to go, but I will not know if I'm going out of state until this
Okay.
week sometime. So if we're okay waiting, but if others
Yeah,
wanna
I
go,
mean,
go for it. If
We
others
can
wanna
tell
go-
them, I think they just wanna know to prepare for us. So
I think it would be fun.
if there's another board member that can, let me know. If not, I'll take one for the team.
Let me check, Tom.
Okay.
I'll see if
Yeah.
Marcia can go.
Yeah. If there's a, is there a, there's a
Oh, it's at
lacrosse game?
home. What time is the event?
5:30.
If I'm in the state, I
Okay.
can go, but if someone else wants to go, by all means.
Well, it looks like we're gonna have a couple of people checking and then
Yeah.
I'll follow up with each of you early next week. I'll just send a text and say, what are we doing about the ROTC payment?
Okay.
Very good. Other than that, we have all kinds of events going on with graduation this upcoming month. And Stacy's been sending us invites. Continue to send us those invites. That's the best way for us to all know. Try to make it to as many and as many as you can go to. It's always good. It's a great time of year. And graduation is going to be really special this year with Board Member Blue speaking. Get your tickets early.
I wake up in a cold sweat, just getting ready for this thing.
We, as soon as we can let Stacy know who's gonna be there, and if your spouse is going to be with you, we can make sure we have seats for you on the front
Yeah.
row.
Are we doing good? Has everybody gotten back to you?
Everybody's gotten back to you.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, so I just want to mention, we sit up here and we pass all these, equipment requests.
Millions and millions of dollars.
And I just want to say, I was in the car with Maya today and we were having a discussion and somehow the interactive whiteboard conversation came up and she's like, I know what that is. I love that. That is so cool. So anyway, I just want to share that we sit here and we pass these things, but it was kind of neat to hear firsthand from a student how much, she enjoyed it, so.
That's good. I just get complaints from my kids. Why can't you get this? Why can't you do that? Don't you know somebody over there that can help with this? Kids these days. All
Well,
right.
I think it's interesting, at least from my point of view too, to see how some of these things are paid for. It's just
Yeah.
like how we get things paid for through the CAPS program and the way that Jason Watt works through different channels to get these. It's not always just from our capital budget. There's ways that are creative sometimes to get things to be paid for. So that's another interesting point to see too.
Yeah.
You know.
Very good. Superintendent, anything that you want to discuss in your report?
Distinguished Educator Awards, May 4th, 5th, and 6th. Just invite you to come out to those. What are you thinking, Sean? We can handle as many board members that want to show up.
Is that when we do?
I would definitely encourage you to attend at least one.
Do you want to send them a schedule of?
I think Stacy's.
Stacy's
Already
done.
got- Well, sure, Stacy's already done.
She's already 10
course
steps
she is.
ahead.
If you can find it in your day, it would be well worth your time to watch that one.
So this is what we used to do at Christmas. We're
Yes.
going to do it now.
We're going back into the classroom.
Okay.
We did that last year. We evolved and discussed how things work best, and people have chosen that this is the preferred way to present this. It's intimate. This is our only award system now. We've brought them together, and the distinguished educator will win $11,500.
11,000. Wow.
Mhm.
So it's not an assembly.
Nope.
Nope.
The teachers do not know.
Did you get it?
We will surprise them walking through the door. Life changing for
Yeah.
them and for the people that see it.
You want to talk about
Pretty cool.
how the funds, because it used to be one
It's
person,
privately donated,
privately donated.
private donations.
For how many, and how many,
14.
That's good.
Pretty generous.
$50,000.
So I probably should talk.
Come on up.
We need to thank our community.
Not very often I get to
Is
talk
this
about
through the
some good
Wasatch,
things.
is this from the foundation?
This is a foundation program.
It's great.
We have 14 teachers, 4 at the high school, 2 at each middle school, 1 at every elementary, and this year we included the Wasatch Learning Academy. So those are the 14. They all get $11,500. And the reason it's $11,500 is because it's a $10,000 award. The people wanted to cover taxes, and so they have talked to
Grossed it up.
they made it 11.5 so that it was be a tax, not a tax burden. So they're paying their taxes on it as well. And we are changing it just a little bit. We're not going to have it at graduation. That was part of the committee's recommendation. It's like graduation should be for kids. So we're doing this at the school. They will not be at graduation. We're not going to have a video. John Moss, you're welcome.
Well, Sean, so explain how it happens. Do you just call everyone into the?
No, so the teachers will be in the classroom teaching on a normal day. They do not know they've won. They have no idea. Their family of whomever that is will be notified. We'll hide them. We all walk in the classroom with the kids there learning, and Kirsta has made a giant check, and we will talk a little bit about them. The principal will say some things about the nominations, what was written about them, say some nice things about them. We're going to present them a check. We have a really nice acrylic trophy that's in the shape of a mountain that has their name and our seal. We'll give them that. We'll give them the check. And the school will have some sort of little gift, flowers for the ladies or something else. And then sometimes the principal will say, we have a sub for you today. You're free to go home. So it's a really good experience. That's why I say if you could come to a 1, it will be like, I'm going to do that again, because it's emotional
Is that what
for
we
the
did
teachers.
last year, or is this the first year we're doing this?
Sean,
We did it
tell
in the
them what we did?
classrooms last year, a different award. It was the Katie Fisher Teacher of the Year.
Yeah.
This 10,000 award was more private, and it was a journey of how do we marry these two, and the recipients we did not publicize who won it last year. That will change this year. It's a publicized, everyone knows. We had 700 nominations for our teachers, and there's some criteria that's been set up. You have to teach with us for 3 years. You can win this award again after 4 years. If you're nominated, the committee wants them to win it again. So
Sean, how long do you see this? Is this just a 1-year thing?
Oh,
or is
no.
This is going to
this is
endure?
perpetual.
This is year 2. and I
This
think
is year
kind of
2.
The driving force behind it is now a member of our Wasatch Education Foundation board, right?
Yes.
That's great.
So it kind of replaces or is in lieu of the old Teacher of the Year award.
Yeah.
But it is the second year that it happened. Did you get in on some of that
I
last
did,
year?
and it was,
Why would anybody want
was
to teach
amazing.
anywhere else? Huh?
Tyler,
We
there
haven't
was
talked
not
about
a
a car
dry
yet.
eye in the room. There, we were up in Paul's office, and everybody was in tears. I have never seen such humility from these teachers.
My opinion is this year there will be more tears because they were a little nervous last year. You'd get called. Unfortunately, a lot of them thought they were going to have something wrong. They were like, I'm scared that something's wrong. When we walk into their classroom, that's their comfort place, and it'll be emotional for them. When they see their family, they start crying about that fast.
We've done it both ways now, even with both awards. We've done it in the classroom, and then we've done it in these larger settings. And Sean's worked with the committee. They've decided that it's more intimate, and we like the classroom setting better. We're going to go that route. I think that'll be something that we end up sticking with.
So we
I
invite you
like
to
the
come.
idea of that sub, especially with their family and everything.
Yeah, I mean, subs are a premium, but there's some principals that's their little gift to them, and hey, go with your family, and
Yeah.
or go to lunch tomorrow on us. There's just a variety of things the principals do as well.
Well, let us know how the board can continue to help. And Kirsta, we know that you work really hard with the foundation, so thank you. Thank you for all that you do, and I know you're leading up to a big scholarship night and golf tournament, and working with Sean to help pull through these things. And it doesn't go unnoticed, so thank you.
Very rewarding.
The
We are getting scholarships.
Yeah, it's gonna be hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarship. $400,000, wow. That's awesome. With the teachers awards, so the foundation is putting up $500,000.
Over $500,000.
Over $500,000, wow. That's great.
Kirsten's life experience could not have prepared her better. I mean, she's done such a magnificent job. I appreciate you recognizing her.
Yeah.
It's changed the foundation in a great way.
It brought it back to life.
Yeah.
It was on its way out. There were two different competing groups, and now this is the one to be with, and it's established itself in the community, and it's doing great things.
Oh, and I should say this year is the first year there is a Wasatch Community Foundation scholarship. They contributed to the fund.
Awesome.
And there's an actual, so that demonstrates that we are working in tandem
That's
really
great.
well. And Jeff Danley, of course, can't go without being.
Yeah, Jeff Danley.
He's a force to be reckoned with. It's amazing. Thank you.
So, speaking of scholarships, we did start something 3 or 4 years ago. We started a board scholarship. We named it the Corey Hanks. Corey Hanks is a grandson of Ephraim Hanks, and there's a little history book I have up in my office that talks about the Corey Hanks story. He lived in Heber. He was from here, and when he was about 18 years old, he had a mining accident and it blinded him. And I still have heard of folks that still have heard can repeat the stories of him traveling up and down Heber's Main Street with his walking stick, with his cane, that helped him. And anyway, I think we maybe skipped last year.
No, Corey Hanks was.
Or was it the year before? Well, okay, so.
Corey Holmes talked about Corey Hanks.
So that's something we need to think about. I've wondered, and I think either way is appropriate. I've wondered if maybe, in this spirit of, we're pulling the teachers out of graduation, if we should just do this on the scholarship night with all the other scholarships, rather than do it at graduation. But I don't care. I can do it either way. Do you have an opinion on that, Sean?
It's a board.
But I can get, I've typically worked with the high school to get either a candidate or 2 or 3 candidates for the board to look at. It's usually been someone that's suffered a hardship throughout their career at some point, and
It's not necessary, that's not necessarily getting other scholarships.
yeah,
That's been one.
could be that, and so I'll help with that, and we can talk about when and where we want to award it.
The one thing that I'll say about the Corey Hanks Scholarship, and I was around when it began, was twofold. One is to highlight somebody that has overcome extreme adversity in their lives and that wasn't going to receive any scholarship money. That's the premise of where it started. So those were the 2 things that we had asked Principal Johnson for, and you helped us select the last 3 years, right? And I don't think it was hard to find somebody, but you helped us find those people. And the second thing, and this could come as a relief or it could come as just one more thing to think about, is it was the premise, it was the background and the reason in the graduation talk from the board. And so instead of being able to try to come up with this great original motivating speech that's hard to do, and I've done it, Ray's done it, other board members have done it, Tyler's losing sleep over it, it's basically your speech. And you give them the Corey Hanks Award, and that's it, right? It's about everyone else and somebody else versus the board member trying to stand up and figure out how to. And the purpose of the board member graduation is to accept the graduates from the principal That's the purpose. But now it's turned into this, okay, I gotta give this speech. And in reality, it's not our purpose. Our purpose is to accept the graduates. And so that's what it's been. That's how it started, and it's lost probably through the years, but we can bring it back, and then the board member has their speech. It's the Corey Hinks story, it's the Corey Hinks scholarship, it's on behalf of the Board of Education, we accept the graduates and return those.
It's good.
So,
Thanks for writing my speech right there.
yeah, it's done, I'll send it to you.
Thanks, pal.
But it's up
Now
to
I can
us.
sleep.
It's totally up to us. If we wanna have
No, that's
that
good.
moment to give our knowledge and our experience and our wishes that is original to our lives, we can do that. If we wanna use the Corey Hinks story, we can do that. We can turn the Corey Hinks scholarship over to the foundation, and we can do that. In the past, it's been $2,000, and the Board of Education has put that in their budget, and it's been paid that way.
And I wasn't suggesting you just turn it over to
No,
scholarship.
there's a ton of things we can do with it. I do think it'd be sad if it went away.
Well, yeah.
It's an opportunity to keep it going and something special for the board to do, and in an environment where there's 5,000, 6,000 people, and we might have the ability to change someone's life by doing it.
So I really like that idea. I think, it's a really special scholarship, and I'm wondering if we add it to scholarship night, if it might get a little bit lost.
It might, 'cause there's so much.
There's so much
Yeah.
going on that night, so
I
much.
mean, we could get more
Well, I'll
involved
just
in
incorporate it.
selecting.
Yeah, we'll just
No,
do it.
I
Yeah,
think the way Tom's articulated it, let's leave it right where it's at.
let's do it.
I'm
And
great
I'll
with
send
that.
you this Corey Hinks story that
Okay.
was originally written by Mark Davis, and we could just keep it
I've got
passed
the book
on.
upstairs,
And then we
too.
don't have to come up with our own talk.
I don't think that was the reason why Mark did it, is he was trying to figure out what to do, and he thought, you know what? I'm gonna use this platform to help somebody that may never get helped. And he didn't wanna make it about him, and so he stood up, and there was a picture of Corey Hanks, there was a picture of the graduate, and that's how it went. So, if I ever speak at graduation again, I'm giving the Corey Hanks story and sitting down. I'm
Well,
not
yeah,
gonna-
I'll just do that. I'll incorporate that. Let's
Yeah.
do that.
And of course, you can bring your own flavor to it, but,
I
Do
like
my own
it.
tweak to it.
okay.
Okay, the last thing I have is, I would like to suggest that, I'd like to take the board to a PLC Institute at Work conference. We talk so much about PLCs, and there's an institute out there, they put these on around the country, and I was thinking about this as we were in San Diego, and how much learning goes on for this group when we're together and we're out. And so I will talk to you more about some dates, but they're typically a 3-day conference. We could probably shave it down to 2. Sometime during we could do it in the summertime, we could do it in the fall. I'd like to do it before too much of the school year is out, and it will give you an idea of what every teacher gets trained on in this district as our method of delivering our education and having continuous improvement built into our everyday routine. And that's who we are. That's what we do, and I think there would be some great benefit from the board to go to one of these, and they're good. They're really good. There's actually one in Salt Lake on October 3rd through the 5th in the fall. I worry about it being in Salt Lake because it's too easy for you not to show up or run home or run take care of something else. They're really scattered around the country, but I just would ask the board to give that some thought.
Okay.
And I'll follow up with you at a later date.
I think that sounds great. I think just the one experience I had sitting in in Stephanie Disher's PLC with her teachers, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I know I talk about this all the time, but I was blown away.
Stephanie Disher's one of the best in the, I mean, I would say she's one of the best in the country. And she's just been hired by Solution Tree to do some presenting for them. So that makes, you know, her and Garrett that are Solution Tree presenters now. Okay, that's all I have.
All right. Anything else from the board? Okay, I'll entertain a motion that we dismiss and go to a quick executive session to discuss personnel.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Well, technically, we're not adjourning,
We're going to executive session
For the purpose of personnel.
for the purpose of property and personnel.
Property and personnel, Tyler said it.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, very good. Thanks for everybody's help.